The next ones, we are adding and subtracting rational expressions, fractions, with a common denominator and binomial numerators. Right, they're going to start us out where we already have a common denominator. We don't have to make one. However, we're going to have to distribute if we have a negative in front. So you want to think of this as like having this on top of your fraction with the negative out in front, and that I have to distribute that out. So I'm going to write one big fraction because my common denominator is 8a. Distributing my negative here, negative and a positive is going to make that a negative 6a. A negative and a negative is going to make that a positive 10x. Same thing here, that one has a negative in front. I want to think about it like I have parentheses around the top of that fraction. And so a negative and a positive is going to make that a negative 8a. And then a negative and a positive is going to make that a negative 7x. Now, just like when I add other fractions, I'm just going to work with the numerator. I'm going to combine my like terms. So negative 6a minus 8a would give me negative 14a. Positive 10x minus 7x would be positive 3x over my 8a. Now, the only way I can simplify that is if all three terms are divisible by the same thing. Since they're not, I can't reduce that down any farther. But do be careful when you type this in that when you hit the negative, if you hit the negative before the fraction, it likes the negative in front. The negative needs to be on top the fraction. So I would suggest when you type it in, hit the fraction button first, then type the top in and the bottom separately. Don't try to type negative 14 because otherwise it tries to put the negative in front. You can type it and highlight the whole thing and then hit the fraction. That also works. But just be careful when you type it in that the negative goes on top, not in front of that fraction. So number 8, if I'm going to add those two expressions together, my common denominator is 5a. If I distribute my negative in front of that fraction, what should I have? Negative 4a and
minus 2b.
Not minus 2b,
Oh, plus.
plus, because I'm going to have a negative and a negative, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a negative and a negative is going to make that a positive 2b. This one has a plus sign in front, so if I distribute that positive sign, I'm going to have
Negative 4a.
if I do this part,
Yeah. Negative 8a.
there's a plus sign there.
Plus 8a minus 7b.
It's going to be a plus 8a and a minus 7b. So positive 8 and then a positive times a negative stays negative, right? Now if I combine my like terms, negative 4a plus 8a is 4a and 2b minus 7b minus 5b all over my 5a. And again, I can't divide all three terms by the same thing, so I can't reduce that down any further. That's just going to be my answer. So number 9, 4c is my common denominator. The first fraction is not going to change much because there's nothing in front of that. So 8c minus 11d. On the second part, I'm going to get what?
Minus 6c plus 6d.
Minus 6c and a plus 6d. So a negative with a positive is a negative, and a negative, change that to a positive. When you have that minus in front, it just changes my signs. Combining my like terms, 8c minus 6c. 2c, negative 11d plus 6d is minus 5d. Over my 4c, and again, I can't divide all three terms by the same thing, so I can't simplify that. Every once in a while, they'll throw one in that you can reduce, so you do want to watch for that.